Photographers are like groupies. They follow irrelevant people to work off a cliff, and they always land on their elbows. They're fanatical for one type of thing, and they're viciously attacking their rival bands. This is not working. They have sex for cameras. It doesn't mean if 5 of them came to me for help, I'd refuse. What are you looking at? What is this?
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we have a rather fascinating episode today, a comparison. We're going to answer 5 desperate losers, but we're comparing Sony to Nikon throughout the episode on each of their equivalent lenses. So right now, one of you is a Nikon ZF with a 17mm to 28, 2.8. I'm not looking at you. The other is a Sony A7S III, Zeiss Batis, 18mm 2.8. So we're 1mm off, and we're just in standard profile for both. Can you spick it? Can you spot it and pick it? Which is which? Which is the better colors? Nikon, oh, so much better than Sony. Is it? Not so sure, am I? Boom. Sony, Zeiss Batis, yes. We're just in standard and auto exposure, just to see what would happen. And we'll switch to log and different lenses. You wait. First Nikon, 17mm, it's a zoom, but you're Nikon, right? You can make up for that. Question, between the Sony ZV-E1, the Lumix S5 2X, and the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K, which would you choose? I want full frame, mirrorless, 4K 60, solo operator, content creator. Oh, you're a content creator, then the new Panasonic S9 is designed for you, bro. It's got full-time LUTs in our LUT pack. When has Panasonic ever made a LUT or a picture profile that was like, yep, I'm picking that one today? You shoot in log and you run away. So like, that wasn't released yet, but if it was me, honestly debating, it's not even close. What the hell are you looking at, Nikon? It's so obvious, ZV-E1, all the way. In fact, as much as I love Nikon and their color science compared to Sony, so I think it's desperately lacking slow-mo, and it's really annoying to have, 4K 60, I'm now in APS-C crop. You might as well be a Z30 at that point. Like, what are we doing? And then HD 120, it's gross. Whereas like, Sony just does everything right, with the caveat that you might look super dumb at some point with red hair or yellow skin. It's mostly my fault. This is why we're doing just standard, see what happens type of thing. But if it was me, Sony ZV-E1 all the way. But if it's wildlife, no viewfinder, And while Blackmagic will have the nicest look, perhaps, of all those, it's the hardest to use. It will have nothing. Like, if you're creating content, why would you want a machine that fights you every step of the way? It's a nightmare. So, ZV-E1, boom, you've been answered. Let us now switch. We got the 28mm 2.8 from Nikon versus the Zeiss Batis 25mm 22. We'll stop it down to keep it somewhat fair and switch to log. Did I switch sides deceptively? Nikon over here now? Hey, Nikon. Is it though? Or are you the Sony? So, I kept them the same. So boom, we didn't switch to log, but I'm about to. Batis, 25mm 2.8 versus the 28. I find this 28mm is a gem of a lens. A little tiny thing, cheap, and has some pop. It's got some rendering that could please a woman in a village somewhere. Whereas the Zeiss Batis, you always have the pop. Come on now, you're Zeiss. So we've just been in standard profile for both with dynamic range things on both as well to pretend that we're log. Let us now switch into log, and I will ruin it with color grading. Okay, now we're in log on both. Not sure what LUT I'm gonna apply, but this is what I like to film in on both. So like, this is what should be happening. Usually I turn Sony into Canon color science with Cinematch, but that never goes well. And I had this log grade for the longest time. It was yellow disgustingness. Couldn't even see it. Couldn't even see the forest for the trees, so I stopped down the Batis. Up the Batis. 25mm 22. Okay, need advice. Been going back and forth for a month now whether I should upgrade Sigma 100 to 400 to the Sony 200 to 600 and 1.4 times teleconverter. How is this even a debate? Do you guys watch nothing I do? Sigma doesn't sync the stabe. It's way worse autofocus. Stabe bad. Sharper? No. It has no advantage other than price, and you later on say something that you can afford it. Currently filming my mom's apartment. Rats? What? You're filming rats? Okay, that sounds good. Love filming birds. 100 to 400 disappoints. 200 to 600. Ooh, you end up with another thing in my house. Oh no. So I'm with you. It sucks to have too many things. You want to get rid of everything. I'm always constantly searching to declutter my life. Right, Nikon. So it's like, if I'm you, selling the Sigma immediately, getting the 200 to 600, it's heavy as hell. You have to know that. It sucks. It's so heavy, but it's the only option for Sony until they come out with an 800mm Tony 8 Prime, which they damn well better soon, because I'm debating leaving them hard, because Fuji's going to have a 500mm Prime. Why would I not enter into that system for wildlife? You're crazy. Batis, do you agree? 200 to 600 and the 1.4 times? If you had a Sony A7S III, you're into like 920mm-ish area for 4K 120p with a 10% crop. So it's like super reach, mildly stable, somewhat, not really. But this is your only option. Sigma's never an option for anything. They have no character, no pop. If it's only sharpness and flatness you're looking for, you want to live in your 2D world and not advance to 5th dimension like where we're heading on this channel together, then stay with your Sigma group. Invite Tamron to lunch. Give Samyang a birthday gift if you have one. Okay, one more switch and then we go outside. I wanted to do this whole video outside, but then I put together the logistics of it and I was like, how am I going to bring all that with me? Impossible. 85mm 1.2. Oh my god. Did I switch sides again, you ask? No, I didn't. I never have yet, and I never will. It's always going to be, I'm lazy. I don't want to, come on. 40mm Tony 2 versus the Voigtlander 35mm at Tony 2. I could have went 1.2 on your ass, and I should have, but I'm not. We're just keeping things nice and even keel here. Cheap lens there, Voigtlander not so cheap. Is there any difference between Zeiss lenses that have autofocus and the ones with manual focus in terms of 3D pop? For example, 50mm Sonar T-Star versus 85mm 1.8 Batis. I'm not a pro here in this field. It's my passion in life, but I know nothing. I haven't tried too many manual focus Zeiss lenses, but the ones I have were pretty darn fantastic. The 50mm 1.4 planar, even though it had a gash in the front element, it was a fantastic lens. It wasn't super sharp, wide open, but you stop it down a little, it's like magic. It's like, wow, that is nice. So I have to feel that the older vintage Zeiss glass will be better than these Batises. Some say they're Tamron designs, and I kind of believe it, but it still has a bit of pop. It's a Zeiss T-Star coating type of thing. It's like, okay, there's some pop there. It's not terrible. It's still Zeiss. So no matter what Zeiss you get, I think you're going to be okay. It's not, there's levels to Zeiss hood. But you have to weigh out, is the manual focus only worth it? I am having a debate right now, actually. I'm like, I want to invest in that Nikon over there, and I don't know what to get. I was just looking at the 28mm 1.4, and then I watched an Angry Photographer video, and he was like, never get that lens. Wow, that's like one of the worst ever. And I was like, oh, damn it. I thought that was like a magic one. I guess I read wrong. The 28mm 1.8 was okay, so now I'm thinking 24mm 1.4, maybe, I don't know, but we were leaning 135mm Tony 2 Zeiss Apo. Manual focus only for Nikon. Could you even imagine the magic of that lens? I can't even fathom it. So that versus getting the 135mm 2.8 Batis for Sony. Could you imagine the slow motion street videography with a 135? Autofocusing, it has stabe in it, which might sync with the IBIS. You don't know that it won't. That would be so useful, whereas you can't do that manual focus. I don't care who you are. I'm riding a skateboard with one arm pointed out, like not even looking at people when I do that stuff. It's like discreet, creepy shit. My advice is to go with an autofocusing Zeiss lens. It's just gonna be better. All your lifestyle will be better. The stress relief. Yes, you might get a better look on the manual pop. You will actually, most likely, but it's just gonna be so much easier and likely lighter, potentially cheaper. I don't know, man. For me, everything is hinging on what the Z6 III is. Because if it's not like exciting, because so far like Nikon's amazing, if it's just this, cool. But Sony, I can do this as well. I can vlog with better stabe. I have super slow motion for anything. I can do wildlife. Everything is easy. There's a grip on the damn thing. So it's like Sony is superior in every way except potentially just the colors, which is usually my fault because I don't know how to grade anything. If, however, the Z6 III comes out and it's like 6K 60 RAW with HD 240, it's like, okay, it's a sideways step, but it's Nikon color science and we're almost matching the Sony specs. It's like, okay, then we invest in Nikon. I get out of Sony completely. And then it's like, okay, I'm looking at the 800mm prime, that Zeiss manual focus, holy shit, and we're having fun. But like, these are the debates we must have, and it's all a patience and timing, waiting for these old companies that are irrelevant to do something fun for once. Let us go outside now. We have 2 more questions and 2 more comparisons. Someone just bought a Tamron lens and they took their first photo and they looked at it and like, where's the 3D? Welcome to Step Up Ring Hell. Oh, I had to get a lot of little adapters to make these NDs work. So right now, we're on my favorite mountain. We're Nikon ZF with the Voigtlander 58mm 1.4 at 1.8 to match the Zeiss 55mm 1.8 Sony. Oh boy, I've been wanting this comparison for 7 years. Neither lens was available back then. Is the Voigtlander manual focus lens focusing on me? Where was my focus point? Oh, wow. Let me just apologize in advance that I likely missed focus on the Voigtlander somehow still. I focused on my tripod, it was right here. I lined it up. Come on, sometimes I'm manually focusing and it's like so sharp and perfect, and then other times it's like so hazy and like, did I miss focus? Is it just the distance? Was that your question? I've been thinking about getting a Sony A7S III for my kit. C100, wow, no flippy screen on that one. 6D Mark I, no dual pixel or flippy screen. GoPro 7, wow, X3000 destroys it. The slow motion was worried about the autofocus. How could you be worried about autofocus? You're insane. On a Sony camera, actually, I've proven that it's an issue. How will do the EF lenses work on the Sony body in higher frame rates? Yeah, you might have a conundrum there, my friend. Oh boy, I would have initially said like Sony autofocus, no problem. As I was testing it in my living room, it was like, holy cow, it never falters you. I've had this camera for like, it feels like 4 years easily, and I've been out of focus 3 times. It's usually on a Zeiss lens as well, it happens. But like pretty much you can dance around. I put a little box just in case, because Zeiss lenses can act haywire as the sun blesses our hearts. Voigtlander. So you saw the debacle here. I was Canon EF 85mm 1.2 in my living room. It's fantastic. It was autofocusing. And then for some reason, you get away from the shot full body and it's just hunting back and forth and back and forth. You can't stop down the toniature on the 7 Artisans adapter. I don't know that there is a good one. Like, there's no adapter. That's the thing. Viltrox sent me theirs for Nikon and I couldn't stop down. I was like, this really sucks. So I bought the official one and now everything works fine. So sometimes you have to go native. You have to go with the official company. These third parties, they don't have the algorithms or the protocols, so they mess something up, unlike Sony, unless you're on a Canon glass. It's too bad, because I'd be in heaven right now. Sony A7S III with that Canon 85mm 1.2, are you kidding yourself? For anything, and then stopping it down to like Tony 8, I'd be like, oh, I missed the Canon R8 so bad. But whenever I'm trying to sell gear, I ask myself, would I buy that right now, knowing what I know? The answer was a hard no on that one. I have a bad feeling about this move. Oh boy. So we just stepped a little closer. It's too bad we can't just use any lens from the past, because I kind of want to invest in Nikon lenses now, and what if I abandon Nikon? Then I'm stuck. Like, I'm stuck right now with Canon lenses that I can't really use. The 24mm didn't focus right on the Sony, and the 85, that's a nightmare. It's a nightmare bitch. I just tried to correct the framing, stop down to 24 on both, and in my screen, just Sony looks, everything is black. What the hell am I doing wrong? Why can I never get this? Just judging by the screen, it's like Nikon looks perfectly exposed, Sony's a dark nightmare. Hell, oh, I suck at this, but yeah, I wouldn't bother trying it, but like Sony's slow motion autofocus is amazing. It's almost as good as regular, so that's why I love it. Panasonic, okay, you got some good stuff, but you can't autofocus in slow-mo. That ruins my slow motion street videography stuff. And that's where we lean. Like, I was just looking up that Zeiss 135 Tony 2, watched some reviews on it, fantastic lens, but hot damn, manual focus can be a bitch unless you're just doing this and you can nail it. Sometimes it works, often it doesn't. Was he asking any of that? He just wanted a simple answer. Can you focus with Canon lenses? The answer is never. The answer is nigh. Okay, let us switch to the final battle. This is a comparison you didn't even think was possible or needed. Do it. Do it. Oh. You see, that's where you let me down, Nicky boy. Oh, Nicky boy, why are you doing it? Oh, I can't see now. I could see for sure that I wasn't in focus, and now I'm paranoid. Oh, Nicky boy, what are you doing to me? Oh, man. The comparison you never thought was needed by anyone. Nikkor 85mm 1.2 versus the Sony 90mm macro 2.8. Two modern pieces of crap battling to who gets to drive future cabs. Flying cabs. Oh man. So we're both at 2.8. Does the Sony have any pop? I don't know if macro lenses somehow are better than most normal modern crap. Okay, now you have me. We gonna do that again? What about Sony? Do I have to worry about you? I put them both on full screen. Sony, you don't have to worry about anything, usually. Whenever I say something like that, my confidence, God strikes me down, and then the camera falters. Ow, the bricks. Wow, look at us. Does one pop? I am leaning heavily towards returning that 85mm. Wondering what your view is on vintage lenses. It's becoming a bit of an obsession with me. Well, let me end that obsession right now. It's a cool look. I like it. I like the look. But you have to factor in the convenience. What are you using it for? Do you like manually focusing? I don't mind it for stuff like this, but if you really want to invest, for me, like, it would be so dumb to buy that 135 for Nikon. Manual focus, I can't do anything with it outside but this and some like random ass headshot in my living room. That would really suck. Whereas if I buy the Zeiss Batis, maybe a little less of a look. But hot damn, I go get some magical downtown footage of the ladies. Slow, 240 frames per second. I've looked at the footage so far from this video. I'm not seeing a reason why you would leap away from Sony. It's like the colors are so subjective. Every video I make, every little comparison, there's two people that say the opposite. Oh man, Panasonic really won that one. Sony winner today. And it's like, what are you talking about? And then next video, it's like, oh, Canon, way better, of course. Like, Sony sure won that one, huh? Was I even in, oh God. It's all subjective and no one cares. And if color is the main thing, then like Nikon is destroyed by Sony because you have so much better specs and you're lighter weight and you're cheaper and you got the Zeiss glass and you and your little adapter, the Meg Adapt, it doesn't work. Mine doesn't. I wide opened it against my better judgment. Sony Master Files, slow motion superiority. So I don't know where I stand on the whole vintage touch. I mean, sometimes I love the look, but the convenience and being able to do more with your gear, you can actually like get paid one day. Like, oh, I can do this shoot. Whereas your manual touch, like, what are you even doing with your life? So who won today's battle? We are also in rich tone portrait now and standard and auto exposing everything. Shutter speed's probably going crazy, but I just wanted to see who does better face exposure because it's in Sony's menu. You lie about it, don't you? It's not always working, is it? So I think I'm gonna leave. This is a long episode. How you doing? Who won? I'll leave. Subscribe for more, but I'm saying it.